Good morning, friends. Let us recapitulate what we have seen in the last video. We have seen the first three types of service-oriented network, that is content-based network, programmable network, and the overlay network. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the mesh network and the cooperative network, which are the last two types of service-oriented network. So let us start with the mesh network. So mesh network are of two types, a full mesh network topology and the partial mesh network topology. Now let us see what happens in full mesh network topology. So in a full mesh network topology, every network node is connected using point-to-point connection to every other. But connecting every node to every other node is costly to wire and costly power-wise to transmit the data to each other. Hence, in practice, the mesh networks are usually partial mesh network. So this figure shows the partial mesh network. In partial mesh network, each node is not connected to every other node. So partial mesh network tend to combine the ring or the star-based network topology. The wireless mesh network are sometimes the next topic of our discussion is the wireless mesh network. So wireless mesh network are the partial mesh or the ad hoc networks that can be significantly improve the performance at a lower cost and at a lower power output compared to other types of wireless local area networks such as uh, wireless personal area network, wireless metropolitan area network, so on and so forth. Now, one of the characteristic of wireless mesh network is that the wireless mesh network is low power. The reason is that it uses a set of lower power multi-hop transmission rather than a single more powerful transmission to the base station. So this is actually turned into a suitable solution in rural areas where the conventional base station wireless type network supports, or you can say that the digital subscriber line support may be very difficult to use. However, each wireless mesh network receiver is now more complex and more costly as it must also act as a relay. So WN wireless mesh network, we can say that it acts as a kind of cooperative network for its user. So wireless mesh network can be used for what purpose? So instead of using a sophisticated and a costly centralized base station, each wireless receiver in a wireless mesh network, it can act as a relay point or a node for other receivers within the range. Now this enables a data signal to pass through several nodes and as it progresses from the core network to its destination. So to this end, we can say that the wireless mesh network, it acts as a kind of cooperative network for its user. Now, let us talk about for what purpose the wireless mesh network can be used. So wireless mesh network can also be used to support the interoperability between the heterogeneous wireless network to improve their performance and to avoid the dead zones that may occur in some types of wireless network. So in WMN, each node operates not only as a host but also as a router, which forwards the packet on behalf of other nodes that may not be within the direct wireless transmission range of their destination. Now, in addition to this, the dedicated mesh router, this figure you can see that. In addition to this, the dedicated mesh routers which contain the additional routing capabilities and bridging the gateway function to other network. So a wireless mesh network can also be dynamically self-organized and self-configure mesh connectivity topology, which supports the ad hoc multi-hop networking. So in all, if you want to summarize the main characteristics and the benefits of wireless mesh network, then we can say that the first characteristic or the first benefit of using the wireless mesh network is multi-hop wireless network. the WMN, it extends the coverage range without sacrificing the channel's capacity without a direct line of sight. This is the first benefit. Second, ad hoc networking. So the wireless mesh network, it has the ability to self-tune, self-heal, and self-organize for multi-point communication, which enables the network to grow gradually as and when needed. The third characteristic or the benefit is the mobility dependence on the type of mesh node. In WMN, the mesh routers usually have the minimal mobility. So while mesh clients can be stationary or they may be mobile nodes. The fourth characteristic of WMN network is the mesh type of network access. The This is one of the important characteristic or the benefit of wireless mesh network. Wireless mesh network are designed such a way that it supports the different networks such as the internet or P2P network and so on. The WMN, they are compatible and they can be integrated with the multiple wireless network. I just mentioned one of the example, wireless internet network or peer-to-peer network. In addition to this, the wireless mesh network can also be used or they can also be integrated with multiple wireless network which uses the IEEE 802.11 standard. Finally, the last benefit of using the wireless mesh network is that it extends its objective is to extend the capabilities of the ad hoc network. So on top of all this, wireless mesh network can also be used as a ad hoc network, which not only act as an ad hoc network, but it also extends the capability of ad hoc network to the next level. So this is all about the this is all about the first type of the fourth type of network, service oriented network that we have seen, that is mesh network. Now let us move to the next network, that is cooperative network. So some network access devices, they cannot access the multiple network in order to communicate. They just have the access to one network connection, and this is often in order to simplify the design, to reduce the cost, or just to avoid the redundancy which is necessary. So some other network access device have inbuilt support for heterogeneous network access. For example, Bluetooth, infrared, Wi-Fi, GSM network, so on and so forth. So each of these network, they must be used in isolation. They do not interoperate with each other. Now the third case is that the multiple types of same type of physical and network layer that may exist in a different network, because the multiple independent users and provider that offers the overlapping wireless network within the same vicinity. But again, the cases remain same. They do not interoperate with each other. They do not support the feature of interoperability. Now, this can overlap and coincident of multiple overlapping network, uh, as in the more network are installed. Okay, and the point is again remains same. Even if the when we add the more network or the more networks are installed, yes, they will overlap, they will there would be a coincidence amongst the network, but again this network, they do not interoperate with each other. Now, the cooperative communication is designed to enable the single antenna mobile access device to have the benefits of being multiple input, multiple output system. So a specific problem that cooperative communication can solve at a physical media layer, which concerns with the signal fading. Now, why the signal get fade? Because of the thermal noise and the shadowing. Now, why this thermal noise and shadowing occurs? The thermal noise and the shadowing occurs due to the fixed obstacle and due to the signal attenuation, which can vary significantly over the course of given transmission. So, transmission of the independent copies of the signal that will face the independent fading and generates the diversity and can be effectively combat and the deleterious effect of fading through combining this multiple signal. So the cooperative communication can be used to generate this diversity. So in essence, the cooperative communication treats the communication node as uh, they are the part of a wireless mesh network, but multicast the same message over multiple routes with the different fading effects to the same receiver. Now the other benefit is, apart from improving the recovery of signal in the face of fading, the power consumption can be reduced, or the transmission can be increased to a multiple users, or you can say that this can enable the multiple transmitters. So overall, the less power can then be used to cover for fading. So that's all from this unit. We have seen the service-oriented network basics, service-oriented network introduction, service-oriented network uh, at the edge network, service orientation at the edge network. Then we have seen the different types of service-oriented network, may it be content-based network, may it be programmable network, may it be overlay network, may it be mesh network, or may it be cooperative network. So thanks all for in service oriented network.